I am from a city called Homs in Syria, which at one point was the center of the revolution. I'm a critical care specialist in Chicago, and I was the president of the Syrian American Medical Society. I went into multiple medical missions to Syria and also to the neighboring countries to provide medical relief to the refugees in Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and Greece.
I was first introduced to humanitarian work by my brother, who was living and working in northern Afghanistan in the late 90s. And that inspired me to then work in this field. I got my Master's of Public Health and since then worked in a series of countries in conflict, including Syria.
From the beginning of the crisis in Syria, we focused on saving lives. In the Arabic and Islamic tradition, saving one life as if you save the whole humanity.
What I'd like people to understand here is how healthcare itself has been turned into a weapon of war. Can you imagine not being able to go to a hospital because there were tanks outside, snipers on the roof?
When we started to address the crisis, the first decision that we had in the board was to send a medical mission to provide medical relief to the Syrian refugees in Turkey. And after that, we decided that we want to start going inside Syria and do what's called cross-border medical relief. And then we started to build hospitals.
I do three things in Syria. First of all, I document the public health crisis. Secondly, I train doctors to deal with this crisis on every level. And then thirdly, I speak for Syria as a human rights advocate.
Hospitals are attacked and targeted frequently in Syria. More than 800 physicians and nurses were killed in Syria.
Some of the first Syrians I worked with were from the Syrian Arab Red Crescent. And I have to say they are some of the most extraordinary and bravest individuals who are right there also with the doctors on the front line as paramedics or even doctors.
There are certain organizations that set the standards for humanitarian medicine. Of course, Red Crescent and Red Cross is the main organization that is the model for all of us, and we learn from their experience. Being recognized by the American Red Cross is something that is very dear to my heart. The Syrian doctors and the nurses definitely are the real heroes. I'm only their voice. This is what all humanity about, is to keep connected to people who are suffering, and I'm trying to give them healing, I'm trying to give them a voice.
Being a doctor in Syria, being on the front line is the most dangerous job in the world. One of my students once said to me, "Why do you do this?" And I said, "It's the right thing to do." And that's what I have in common with all of those Syrians still working on the front lines in Syria. They're there, it's the right thing to do. I'm with them. And proud to be with them.